not the Colts. A low kick. It is taken by Sterling Shepard from the 3. Shepard up the middle. He's got speed to the sideline. Sterling Shepard down the sideline. Gets by the kicker, but he's going to be ruled out of bounds just shy of the 40. A 57-yard return. Cole Rinke, the kicker, was able to get him out of bounds.
Well, we talked about Barry J. Sanders in the open, but Sterling Shepard, verbally committed to Oklahoma as a wide receiver, does a great job hitting the crease right here. No hesitation, trusting the wedge in front of him, knowing that he's going to use his speed and explosiveness to start this drive off with great field position, Justin.
Starting off around the 41-yard line of Bethany. The starting quarterback, Quinn Shabour, in the shotgun. Sam Hogan, the fullback, is in motion. Empty backfield. Shabour, the screen pass to Cale Courtney. Courtney breaks the tackle. Courtney gets a block down the sideline. Cuts it back to the end zone. Touchdown! '41-yard 40-yard touchdown play from Shabour to Cale Courtney. Not a bad start for Heritage Hall.
Well, certainly not, and certainly a well-executed play as we'll take a look at it right here. And Cale Courtney serving as a holder as well.
Matthew McLaughlin now on for the extra point. And the extra point is good, 7-0. So a 57-yard return followed by a 40-yard pass play.
And the influence of number 3, Sterling Shepard, to the left. Shabour does a good job looking left, coming back on the screen underneath to number 11, Cale Courtney. And number 55, the right guard, Austin McGinnis, made it happen with a crushing pancake-style downfield block. Great execution on behalf of Heritage Hall there on the opening drive. 1 kick return, 1 play, 6 points on the board.
7 with the extra point. Cale Courtney, one of these go-to receivers. It's Sterling Shepard and Cale Courtney, but last year these teams met in the state semifinals. The game was won by Heritage Hall, but in that game they decided to double Sterling Shepard. So all of a sudden Cale Courtney's the primetime receiver. He makes 12-13 catches, helps them to a victory.
Yeah, you start rolling coverage over to the side of who you think is the biggest threat and trying to make sure you don't give up big plays, and then it certainly opens up other opportunities within the offense for a guy like Cale Courtney.
The head coach for Heritage Hall is Andy Bogert. He is actually up here very close to where we are, up in the press box. His 7th season. Had heart surgery back in 2007. Since then, he's been coaching up in the box. And, well, there's a reason why. He's kind of superstitious. They won the state title in '08. They won the state title last year in 2010. So they're off to a 7-0 start. Don't mess with a good thing.
Don't tinker with chemistry. And it's a reflection of the trust and the relationships that he has with his assistant coaches and that face-to-face interaction that they're going to have with the players that he doesn't get to have up here in the press box.
Matthew McLaughlin will kick off. Brett Gilstrap and Grayson Hawes back deep, but this is a short kick. Taking at the 29, covered right away. Tanner Robinson, number 23, made the catch, a 3-yard return. The quarterback for the Bethany Broncos is Riley Claiborne. Claiborne, a senior, been running the spread offense since the 8th grade.
I love the 4-sport athlete. In this day and age, we're seeing everybody focus on one sport. You'd love to see these guys still participate in other activities.
Colin Coffey and Brett Gilstrap in the backfield with Riley Claiborne. On first down, Claiborne to pass. Completes it far side of the field to Gage Diffie. A 6-yard completion. It'll be 2nd down and 4. How about the impact player for this Bethany Broncos team?
Well, it's got to be Brett Gilstrap. What's so fun about this guy is he starts at tailback. Last year was the starting offensive tackle, and when they go over on defense for Bethany, he'll be one of their defensive linemen. How often do you see that? What great versatility and a total sense of unselfishness on behalf of Gilstrap.
Brett Gilstrap and his running mate in the backfield, Colin Coffey, both defensive ends. On 2nd down and 4. A flag is thrown. The pass is complete to Coffey. Coffey's got some room, cuts it back, gets chased down from behind by Barry J. Sanders. Let's see what the flag is. It's a 35-yard play right now.
Depending on the flag, regardless, it was tremendous execution in regards to setting up the screen. We've seen that twice from both teams now.
It's holding against Heritage Hall, so this play will stand. Kyle Roberts is our referee.
Holding on a defense. A penalty is declined. First down.
Penalty is declined. Again, this play is well executed at the point of attack. On offense for Bethany as they hurry to the line in a no-huddle capacity.
35-yard play. First and 10. Handoff. Blake Collins trying to get to the outside. Collins nowhere to go, gets back the line of scrimmage. The head coach for the Bethany Broncos is Reagan Roof. I talked about how Riley Claiborne has been running this offense since the 8th grade, this spread. Well, that's because Reagan Roof actually took over the middle school team when they were in 7th grade. When this senior class was in 7th grade. In 8th grade, they implemented the spread. The pass is through the hands of Blake Collins. 3rd down and 10 coming up here for the Bethany Broncos.
Pretty well thrown football there by Riley Claiborne and what should have been a catch. And if you look at Heritage Hall on defense, they're going to be in a 3-man front. It's really a 3-5-3, 3 defensive linemen, 5 linebackers, 3 defenders in the secondary. They've got tremendous strength at the 3 defensive line spots, but a lot of speed at the linebacker positions as well.
3rd and 10, jumping off sides is number 32, Quintaz Struble.
Snap. Offsides. On a defense. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
Struble a little overly anxious there. Now, Quintaz Struble, number 32, number 75, Marcus Wakefield. When we talked to Reagan Roof at Bethany, he said everybody can talk about Barry Sanders and Sterling Shepard, but the 2 most important guys to Heritage Hall are those 2 defensive linemen. Speaks volumes of this team defensively.
You go now from 3rd and 10 to 3rd and 5 with the ball on the 22-yard line of Heritage Hall. Claiborne drops back to pass, gets pressure. Now he's going to run for it. And he is wrestled down by number 11, Cale Courtney. But it looks like he's going to have enough.
It's a good job here by Riley Claiborne, the quarterback. Doesn't like what he sees to the boundary side. Pretty crowded up there in the secondary for Heritage Hall. Comes back, runs, tucks the ball, doesn't make a risk by throwing it into a crowd and getting a much-needed first down in the red zone here for Bethany.
Picks up 6 yards on 3rd and 5, gets the first down. Handoff. Nope, it's kept by the quarterback. And Claiborne spins away. Cale Courtney tackles him. A pickup of 1 yard by Claiborne.
That's a very active defensive group, particularly within the front 7 for Heritage Hall. They've got those big active defensive linemen that I mentioned, but the linebackers are very active, run of the football very, very well, and they tackle well in the open field.
Get a look at Jared Stewart, 6'7", 340 pounds, playing that nose guard position. 2nd and 9, Claiborne. The pass is complete to Brett Gilstrap, but Gilstrap gets tackled at the line of scrimmage by number 22, Brandon Mose.
No, that time Heritage Hall did a great job coming off the edge, leading an uncovered receiver, and then the corner, Brandon Mose, number 22, comes up, and as I mentioned, great open field tackle in space right there, forcing another 3rd and 10 for Bethany inside Heritage Hall territory.
3rd and 9. Brett Gilstrap, the tailback. Play clock is down to 5, and a timeout is taken here by Bethany. 8:17 to go here in the first quarter. It is 7-0 Heritage Hall over Bethany. Third and 9. Claiborne passing. It's off the helmet of Sterling Shabour. The pass was intended for Blake Collins, number 33.
You can see Riley Claiborne here does not see Sterling Shabour, number 3, and nor does Sterling Shabour actually see the ball thrown. He's going for the shot over the middle. He sees that throw. Not only does he step in front of it and pick it off, he might be off the races for 6.
Cole Renke now on for the 32-yard field goal attempt. And the kick is good. A 32-yarder by Renke makes it a 7-3 game. A good drive by Bethany after Heritage Hall scored on their. This is the final high school football game of the season here on the ESPN Network, so we will be revealing our top performances of the year. And you look at this list, and there have been some incredible performances in the 2 months that we've been covering high school football.
We had some tough choices.
Yes, we did.
You know, had to make some nominations. You see what's flipped to page 2 right here.
A late entry also by Jonathan Gray with his performance last night.
It's tough, but the ballot box is closed.
Yeah, I'm just not sure he got that in time. We'll reveal the winners coming up at halftime of this game.
5 touchdowns for the number 1 ranked running back in the land in the first half alone last night.
Don't forget, go to Twitter. Who had the most impressive performance of the 2011 ESPN high school football season? You can tweet your answers to @JustinKutcher, @TomLuganville, @ESPNU, and we will reveal those answers coming up again at halftime. It is a 7-3 ball game. You're looking at Sterling Shabour, number 3. Barry Sanders back deep, number 26 for Heritage Hall, with Cole Renke kicking off. Shepard returned the first one, 57 yards. Shepard goes back to the end zone. This time a good kick by Renke. No return allowed. Quinn Shabour, the starting quarterback for Heritage Hall, had to sit out last year after transferring in, but he's a guy who is getting looks currently from Arizona, among other schools.
Yeah, Andy Bogert really speaks highly of him. The head coach at Heritage Hall says he thinks his recruitment's going to really start heating up as he's got some throws and some production on tape now that coaches can evaluate. I would expect him to start seeing a lot of non-BCS conference attention.
Sanders in the backfield. On first down, play action. Shabour, pump fake, going deep for Shepard. Shepard has to come back to it, but cannot make the catch. Speaking of Sterling Shabour, he is our impact player for this team from Heritage Hall.
Well, he is a 40-inch vertical leap guy. Tremendous overall athlete with body control, speed, can stretch the field. And on that particular play right there, the Oklahoma verbal commitment stemmed up the defender, ate up that cushion, and ran right by him. If Quinn Shabour had thrown that ball on time, he would have been off to the races for a touchdown.
Sterling Shabour, number 56 in the ESPNU 150. 2nd and 10. The handoff is to Sanders. Good job by the defense of Bethany, corralling him. A pickup of 3. Jacob Nelson, number 64, the middle linebacker, nicknamed McNelly, there for the stop.
You know, Bethany knows they've got a tough row to hoe ahead of them when they face a guy like Barry Sanders Jr. But at the point of attack, this team plays hard. They scrape off blocks, tackle well in the open field. Look at the front. 185 pounds, 165 pounds, another 165 pounds. Only one player above 200 pounds on the defensive front for Bethany.
3rd and 7. Sanders split out to one end. Shepard split out to the other. And now we're going to have a flag on the play.
Timeout, Heritage Hall.
A timeout taken first before the flag. And the timeout taken by Heritage Hall.
And that's a smart play on the sideline for Heritage Hall. Keep in mind, we mentioned that head coach Andy Bogert is actually right to the right of us in the press box, so his assistants are handling the game management on the sideline, and they knew they were going to have an illegal shift there. Call the timeout, regroup, don't take a penalty there. You're already sitting at 3rd and 7.
You see where we are, and there is Coach Andy Bogert. So, Tom, you talk about the assistants, the game management. What does it say about Coach Bogert that he can allow his assistants to do that?
Tremendous reflection of trust and probably a working relationship that's been established for a number of years with multiple coaches on this staff, that he knows that the right things are going to be said face-to-face. If he needs to relay something, that's what headsets are for. It's a tremendous working relationship. You don't see it very often. Look at the football history here at Heritage Hall. Tremendous winning percentage, 3 state titles, and as of recently with players like Barry J. Sanders and Sterling Shepard, you can imagine they won an awful lot of football games.
3rd down and 7 coming up. Again, there is Sanders split out wide as a receiver. Sterling Shepard split out near side at the bottom of your screen. Sam Hogan in at tailback. In motion is Cale Courtney, number 11. Pump fake. They're looking for Sanders down the sideline. Barry Sanders off to the races. Touchdown.
Now, what you guys don't know is that Quinn Shabour has a microphone of our broadcast in his helmet, and realized, based off of our assessments, Justin Kutcher, that he needed to throw the deep ball on time.
77 yards to Sanders. We know him as a running back. How is he as a receiver? Not too shabby. Matthew McLaughlin on for another extra point.
No, I had him.
And the kick is good, so 14-3. Heritage Hall up on top on 2 big plays.
One thing coaches love in a running back is versatility in the passing game. It was a 3-man rush from Bethany, dropping 8, but got up in the face of Barry Sanders Jr. and just run right by the defender right there. Colin Coffey, number 43, and the safety that's over the top doesn't get back to his deep half to be able to defend that bracket. Barry Sanders, number 26 right there. Great speed, good job, tremendous throw by Quinn Shabour.
Think about what we've seen so far from Heritage Hall. You see that 77-yard touchdown catch. We saw a 40-yard touchdown catch and a 57-yard return on the opening kickoff, not to mention that deep ball that was underthrown to Shepard. That would have been gone for a touchdown.
Yeah, it's about big plays, and you hear defensive coaches talk all the time. If we can limit big plays, you hear the offensive staff charting how many 20 to 25 plus yard plays you have in a single game. That's why the statistic, average yards per pass attempt, is such a major deal, because it's a reflection of big plays offensively.
14-3. We are not even 5 full minutes into this ball game. What was the score of that game last night in Texas?
67-42, I believe. We might be on our way there.
Matthew McLaughlin will kick off. Brett Gilstrap, 31, and Grayson Hawes, number 4, are back deep. Short kick once again. Tanner Robinson from the 32. Robinson, a good return on a short kick. Brandon Mays takes him down on a special teams tackle. Saturday Night Football continues with 2 great games featuring top-ranked teams. Heisman candidate Andrew Luck leads the 6th-ranked Stanford Cardinal on the road against the USC Trojans, or Taj Boyd and the 5th-ranked Clemson Tigers take on the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Saturday Night Football presented by Southwest Airlines. Both games available nationally on ABC or ESPN3 at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. Sammy Watkins, Tom Luganville, you had him about 3 weeks ago as one of your potential Heisman candidates. Now people jumping on the bandwagon.
Yeah, I think Taj Boyd might be up there too.
Quarterback keeper for Riley Claiborne picks up 1 yard. Quintez Struble, number 32, with a tackle. Sammy Watkins, I can remember tuning in I think it was evening, when you said, I don't care what year he is, you have to forget about it. This guy, Sammy Watkins, is a Heisman candidate, and people are agreeing with you.
Based on production he has, and he's gotten better and better each and every week, I think he'll continue to do so as Clemson hopes to run the table.
Claiborne looks back, changing the plays. Gilstrap and Colin Coffey, the running backs. And another timeout going to be used here by Riley Claiborne and Bethany. The second timeout of this first half used by the Bethany Broncos. 2nd and 9 coming up. Heritage Hall leading 14 with Heritage Hall defeating Bethany. They are just about 12 miles apart. Bethany High School, their mascot is the Broncos, although it's spelled Bronchos. The astronaut Shannon Lucid graduated from there back in 1960. How about Heritage Hall? The Chargers, Wes Welker, an alum. Member of the class of 2000. During his time, they won a state championship. Heritage Hall leads the all-time series 19-7. Bethany has lost 5 in a row. 2nd and 9 here for Bethany. Claiborne across the middle. Big hit, able to hang on to it as Blake Collins. Ross Clifton, number 4, delivered the blow, a 13-yard completion. Wow.
Well, Blake Collins is 6'2", 190 pounds. Number 4, Ross Clifton, 5'8", 175. And right now, Blake Collins, number 33, is -1 ear pad.
Could that have been, I mean, hitting to the head?
Collegiate level. The National Football League level.
1st and 10 here for Bethany. Claiborne to the sideline. Completes the pass, number 22, Blake Gilstrap. A flag comes flying in. If I heard it correctly, it sounded as if Blake Gilstrap came out of bounds and came back inbounds, so he was an illegal receiver.
Yeah, I believe that's what they're going to end up calling there on number 31. Excuse me, I'm sorry, Blake Gilstrap, number 22.
His twin.
On the offense, 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay first down.
So instead of a 6-yard gain, they move it back 15 yards. So really a 21-yard swing on that play.
That's a huge penalty, backs you up into your own territory. Now you hope to just try and get it back into bits and pieces here with hopefully a pretty good gain here on first down.
1st and 25. Play clock at 10. Claiborne trying to get it all back in one. Overthrows his receiver, Gage Diffie, number 20. Sterling Shepard, number 3, on the coverage. We are here in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, the Geico ESPN High School Showcase presented by Gatorade. Charger Stadium, Bethany in white, Heritage Hall in the blue. Justin Kutcher alongside Tom Luganville for the final high school football game of the season here on the ESPN networks. Of course, there is the Under Armour All-America Week coming up in January. Look what Heritage Hall has done so far in the first quarter this year, and they're carrying it along here in this first quarter. 2nd and 25, play action. Setting up the pass, coming back across the field. And it is incomplete, underthrown to Brett Gilstrap, number 31. Shaden Shockley, number 17, on the coverage.
Well, that's twice we've seen underthrown balls on the deep throw down the field. This time by Riley Claiborne at Bethany. If he throws this on time right now, he just, that hesitation right there, he underthrows the ball, number 17. Shaden Shockley on the coverage, but Brett Gilstrap would have been off to the races there, leaking out of the backfield on the wheel route.
3rd and 25, empty backfield. And movement up front. Number 73, Jamal James.
Jamal James immediately getting substituted for.
Offsides, on defense, 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
On a 3rd down. No need to jump offside. It's on 3rd and 23.
Yeah. 3rd and 25, that will get you a substitution. Now 3rd and 20. Ball is at the 49-yard line. They have to get to the 41 of Heritage Hall. excuse me, they have to get to the 31 of Heritage Hall. A quarterback keeper, the draw play. Claiborne gets out to the 38-yard line, a 13-yard run. Barry Sanders with the tackle, his first of the game.
That was pretty well executed right there, just to get the bulk of that yardage back after the penalty. Riley Claiborne does a good job setting it up, sneaks right through the A-gap there between the center and the guard, tucks the ball, gets what he can. Now it looks like Bethany's going to go ahead and go for it here on 4th and 8.
And a timeout taken here by Heritage Hall. There is still 4 minutes and 45 seconds to go here in the first quarter. Both teams have used 2 timeouts. (14-3), Heritage Hall leading Bethany with 4:45 to go here in the first. And this Monday on a special Halloween edition of the Palmer and Pollock Show. Listen to that music. Find out what tricks the boys have up their sleeves to break down number 1 versus number 2, LSU versus Alabama. College football lives here every day on ESPN. You can find out what costumes Jesse Palmer and David Pollock will be wearing, and also what costume Tom Luganville will be wearing. And Tom, I know that you love Halloween.
It's my Christmas, Justin.
So can you at least give the fans a teaser of what you're at least considering?
Well, I'm figuring it's down to 3 right now. It's either going to be Forrest Gump or Kramer from Seinfeld.
Thanks.
Or
I thought it was Jim Kramer.
Or my Clark Kent turning into Superman. It's one of those 3.
Is there a front runner at this point?
No, there's not. I'm going to have to sleep on it.
I think we may have to open this mode up to Twitter as well for you. 4th and 8 coming up here for Heritage Hall. Do they maybe go with a pooch punt here with Claiborne at the quarterback position? Nobody is back deep. Claiborne's going to pass to the sideline, completes it for the first down to Gage Diffie. A 10-yard completion for the first down.
Gage Diffie does a great job here. This is a very simple 10 to 12-yard speed cut out. It's built to run against 3 deep zone coverage and a soft corner right there, as you see. Does a great job breaking out against Demario Walters, number 85. Just a one-on-one break. Good route, good throw. 1st and 10.
Fresh set of downs. Kept by the quarterback, Claiborne, up the middle. Tackle by number 4, Ross Clifton. Second tackle of the game for Clifton, a 5-yard pickup for Claiborne.
Riley Claiborne does a nice job right there with that zone read. He's just watching the unblocked defensive lineman to see if he stretches with the back. If he does, I'm going to pull it and keep it. That's what happened. Read and executed very well. Puts him in 2nd and 5.
Claiborne again looking to the sidelines, changing up the plays. Play clock down to 2. Claiborne over the middle, incomplete, was looking for number 33, Blake Collins. The pressure applied by Quintez Struble, number 32.
Well, that was a quarterback sandwich between Quintez Struble, number 32, poor number 15, who was between that sandwich, of 79, Jared Stewart, all 6'7", 380 pounds of him, taking a shot late there as Claiborne released the football.
So 3rd and 5 coming up. Bethany trying to answer the touchdown of Heritage Hall. It's a handoff to Gilstrap, and Gilstrap nowhere to go as he looks to turn the corner. Quintez Struble, number 32, there with the tackle. So 4th and 5 coming up, and this team is going quickly into the no huddle. They already have a 32-yard field goal attempt. On 4th and 5, Claiborne, and the pass is incomplete. It was over Colin Coffey through the hands of number 33, Blake Collins.
Well, that was tough. They had the defensive front for Heritage Hall, tired, worn out, and they were dragging. No pass rush there, but it was only a 3-man rush, so they're dropping 8. on a clear passing down. Not a lot of places to go with the football, intended for Blake Collins, number 33. And with Cole Rinke, number 9, the kicker for Bethany, being as good as he is, really surprised there. With that yardage to gain, they didn't attempt a field goal, considering they need to get points on the board when they're in the red area.
Unless they're just thinking, look, this Heritage Hall team, this offense, they score a bunch of points. 3 points isn't going to cut it. We need 7. On 1st and 10. Handoff to Sanders. Sanders making some people miss. And that's what you think about when you think of his father.
To be able to navigate traffic in confined spaces is one of the things that Barry J. Sanders there does so well. Look at how quickly he's able to avoid contact, number one in the backfield, and then right when he sees some space, the spin move, the low center of gravity, he got 5 yards there and probably should have had -1.
2nd and 5. The toss to Sanders. And Sanders carries a couple of would-be tacklers up beyond the first down marker. Picks up 6 yards, gets that first down. Grady Van Zant, number 16, with his first tackle of the game. You look at Barry Sanders, number 6 running back in the class of 2012. He wears number 26 because of Clinton Portis. His dad was number 20 in the NFL, 21 in college. First and 10. The pass to Sanders. Sanders. Very close, that first down marker once again. Blake Gilstrap, number 22, brings him down.
I really like this passing game and the way they're used. And Barry Sanders, last time they threw a touchdown, he was split out wide. This time he's the number 3 receiver in the slot, the trips formation to the field side. Throw the screen underneath. Nice job utilizing his talents.
2nd and 1. Shabour keeps it. He gets the first down. Nice job mixing up the plays here by this team from Heritage Hall. Drake Johnson, number 57, with a tackle, a 5-yard run by Shabour.
Well, they're going some no huddle too, keeping Bethany off balance on defense. And Quinn Shabour, as you mentioned, doing a great job moving the chains there.
Direct snap to Sanders. Sanders again cuts it back. Looks like he'll be taken down for a loss. Instead picks up 4 yards as Brett Gilstrap, number 31, with a tackle.
Well, feet are always moving when there are bodies around him. Keeping those toes chopping. Does a great job here taking the direct snap. Sees the crease, gets upfield. Very slippery, and you're not going to tackle this guy with arm tackles. You'd better get a direct shot on him, and that's easier said than done.
2nd down and 6 coming up as we approach a minute to go here in this first quarter. And movement up front, number 54, Alex Ballery.
On a defense, 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
5-yard penalty. 2nd and 2.
A shift from the 2-point stance to the 3-point stance. It's those defensive linemen jumping.
2nd and 1 here for Heritage Hall. Already leading 14-3. Shepard will reverse for Sanders. And Sanders has another first down. And he is kept in bounds.
This is an absolute sensational effort on behalf of Sterling Shepard. To number 1, go down and catch this football, then have the presence of mind to actually execute this back to Barry Sanders Jr. That's just a tremendous individual effort. Barry Sanders Jr. does the rest for a gain of 10.
1st and 10 with the ball at the 34-yard line of Bethany. 25 seconds to go here in the first quarter. Shepard in motion. Toss to Sanders, has a blocker, gets the outside. And Sanders, good job tackling by Gage Diffie, number 20, a pickup of 8 yards. Second down and 2 will be coming up when we start the second quarter. But at the end of one, it's 14-3. Heritage Hall on top of Bethany. Now let's take an inside look at Nike's The Opening, a unique football training camp experience that allowed 150 of the top high school players from across the country the chance to train and compete with the best. The class of 2012, number 78 in the ESPNU 150. Considering Alabama, Florida State, Stanford, and Oklahoma State, his father's alma mater. They also have Sterling Shepard, number 3, who's number 56 in the 150. The number 7 wide receiver, who is verbal to Oklahoma, where his dad played. They have a couple of other Division I prospects on this team, and right now they lead 14-3 after a couple of big plays in that first quarter. But 2nd and 2 coming up. Shepard in as the Wildcat, and a flag is thrown.
Prior to the snap, false start on the offense, 5-yard penalty, still second down.
So back it up now, 2nd down and 7.
It's a shame for Heritage Hall. They had that false start because Bethany was not ready, did not recognize the personnel in the game, and that Sterling Shepard, number 3, was at the direct snap out of the shotgun. Now they substitute back in, and Quinn Shabour back in at quarterback.
2nd down and 7 coming up here for Heritage Hall. 7-0 on the season, coming off a bye week last week. 18 seniors on this team. This is senior night. The seniors were honored prior to the game. Shepard in motion. Shabour's pass is to Shepard. He looks to pass down the field. Has his man. Is it caught? It was juggled. Incomplete pass to Quinn Shabour. So close.
I'm looking over here to my right to see Coach Andy Bogert's reaction. This was a very well thrown ball by number 3, Sterling Shepard. Quintez Struble, number 32, normally again a defensive end. Pretty good job. He just ran out of real estate. He didn't catch it initially. Juggling, bobbling. If he had about another yard to go, he had the ball secured.
I love the attempt at getting both those toes in. 3rd and 7. Shabour pump fake, going deep, looking for Shepard. The jump ball, touchdown. Sterling Shepard, 31-yard touchdown catch, goes up and takes it away from Gage Diffie.
They ran the hitch and go, come up, stuttered about 5 yards. You're going to see number 3 to the top of your screen. Takes off again. Shabour throws the ball up. And number 3, Sterling Shepard with the 40-inch vertical leap, goes ahead, positions himself one-on-one versus number 20, Gage Diffie, and goes and does what's expected of him, making a great play in an individual one-on-one matchup.
Matthew McLaughlin, the extra point attempt. He is now 3 for 3 in extra points. 21-0. 21-3, excuse me. Heritage Hall leading after another big scoring play, this time by Sterling Shepard. Touchdowns by Quinn Shabour, the last one coming 31 yards to the number 7 wide receiver, Sterling Shepard, who goes up. Tom, you mentioned that 40-inch vertical leap, and he is verbal to Oklahoma.
Yeah, just goes up and attacks the football, does a great job one-on-one. As we take a look at Oklahoma's class, 14 verbal commitments. Now, if you're an Oklahoma fan, you're saying, God, that number's kind of low. That's not necessarily a reflection of effort of the job they're doing. It's a reflection of the total number of players on scholarship that will be returning to Bob Stoops' ball club. So that's a positive. Very strong class. Alex Ross at running back. 2 really good receivers with Shepard and Deron Neal.
Matthew McLaughlin will kick off here for Heritage Hall. Brett Gilstrap and Grayson Hawes are back deep. But Tanner Robinson, number 23, has been the guy who's been busy on these kickoffs. It's going to be Gilstrap from the 20. And Gilstrap got hit. An 8-yard return. Well, we talk about Sterling Shepard going to Oklahoma. His father, Derek Shepard, played at Oklahoma, and he said, really, honestly, once Oklahoma offered, I knew I was going there.
And you see where he gets the acrobatic playmaking skills. Is his father there working to make some plays in one-on-one matchups? Now we're seeing Sterling Shepard as we see Barry Sanders play on both sides of the football.
His father passed away when he was very young, about 5-6 years old. His father played in the NFL, the Dallas Cowboys. Claiborne on first down. The pass is incomplete, nearly caught by the official. Every game, Sterling Shepard thinks about his father. There you see, he writes that on his tape. Rest in peace, D. Shep, his father. Second down and 10, empty backfield here for Bethany. Claiborne, the quick pass to the sideline, completes it to Grayson Hawes. Hawes picks up the first down. Tackled by Sterling Shepard, a 13-yard completion. Grayson Hawes is considered the biggest surprise of the year for this Bethany team.
He made a great play right there, most notably not wasting any time getting upfield after the catch. Comes back on the underneath screen. Once he catches it, he's up to the sideline, gets away from the bad guys. Number 3, Sterling Shepard, comes up and makes a hit, but converts on first down.
Good job, Claiborne. Tucks it, runs up the middle, picks up 5 as Drew Dunham, number 42, makes the tackle. Riley Claiborne, his nickname is Sunshine. I love this. His favorite player, he lists as Brett Favre, young or old.
Young or old. Would he remember what is young? That's Atlanta Falcons young. He might not remember that.
Brett Favre wasn't Brett Favre when he was with the Falcons.
Well, then he can only count him as being old.
You can say young when he's playing for the Packers.
Okay.
When he's playing in the Super Bowl against the Patriots, running around with his helmet off, pulling a Tom Luganbill. Second and 5. Claiborne, pass complete to Gilstrap. Gilstrap has the ball knocked loose, picked up. Ross Clifton recovers the fumble. Brett Gilstrap made a heck of a catch, and then he got hit hard. It looked like the helmet was right on the football.
It's the second time we've seen Ross Clifton, number 4, be involved in a big play. He had the big hit. It's number 31, Gilstrap, lower his shoulder. It's a big hit. And number 35, Tyler McGinnis, number 4 there, recovers Ross Clifton. Listen to this hit. There's some pads popping out there today.
Pads, helmets, earpieces. Quinn Shabour back in, taking over the ball at the 40 of Bethany. In motion is Shepard. Running the option. The pitch to Shepard, down the sideline. Shepard cuts it back. Sterling Shepard with a touchdown. Another big play by the Heritage Hall Chargers, this time 40 yards.
As impressive as the tail end of that play was for Sterling Shepard, it was made by quarterback Quinn Shabour, because this was an option play to begin with, but the pitch didn't happen at the normal time you see the pitch happen.
Matthew McLaughlin on for another extra point attempt. Easily puts it through.
So we see Heritage Hall here capitalize on the Bethany miscue. The forced fumble and the recovery by number 4, Ross Clifton, leads to this play. The option pitch to wide receiver, Sterling Shepard, the Oklahoma verbal commitment. He does the rest, cuts back against the grain. It's all speed, it's all Heritage Hall, 28-3.
This is the final high school football game of the season here on the ESPN networks. And Tom, we talked about it earlier, some of the top performances. We're seeing a good one already by this Heritage Hall offense, but we're already starting to get some tweets in voting for top performances. And we said it was too late before about Jonathan Gray. Jonathan Gray is getting some late votes.
Oh, I know he's going to get some late votes because he's freshest in the voters' mind in the Twitter world. So if you want to vote for Jonathan Gray, go right ahead. A 7-touchdown performance. Obviously, he's worthy of being noted. Jameis Winston did it all on our air. 5 total touchdowns without question. I thought the tandem out at Chaparral, both of those guys, Connor Brewer, the Texas verbal commit, and Devontae Neal, put on a show. Robert Foster, telling you, if you ask me, he might be in there in my top 2 or 3. I'm still debating.
So he's a sleeper for you.
He's a sleeper for me. And Russell Shell, 40 carries, 40 carries, regularly pulls that off. So lots of good ones to choose from.
Again, don't forget, we'll declare the winner at halftime. You can tweet your responses, your votes. McLaughlin's kickoff is taken by Gilstrap. Gilstrap back up the middle. You can see this guy has some explosiveness in it. There's some of the fans are saying the ball came loose. It's going to be first down here for Bethany. But again, you can send us your responses via Twitter, at Tom Luganville, at Justin Kutcher, or at ESPNU. And again, coming up at the half, we'll have some fun with the top performances of the 2011 high school football season. (28-3). Bethany needs some points, and they need some points soon. Claiborne, empty backfield, throwing off the back foot down the sideline. The diving effort, and it's hauled in. Gage Diffie. 24-yard completion.
Gage Diffie's just running the streak route down the sideline, an outside release versus number 26, Barry Sanders. It creates just a little bit of separation. That ball thrown to the inside, and Diffie, number 20, does a great job tracking it, positioning himself back inside so that there's not a turnover, and Barry Sanders can't recover and intercept that football.
1st and 10 into Heritage Hall territory. Handoff to Gilstrap. And Gilstrap lowers that shoulder, picks up some more yards. 3 yards on the play. The tackle by number 75, Marcus Wakefield, number 17, Shaden Shockley.
Go ahead, Justin.
I was just going to say that Brett Gilstrap, you talked about it before, starting on the offensive line last year, now as a running back.
So selfless, a team player, will play anywhere and give you all he's got. Right now, he's been pretty valuable outside of the fumble on the last series. He's been a key cog for this Bethany ball club.
2nd down and 7. Fumble on the snap. Claiborne just jumps on it. A loss of 4 on the play. ESPNU's coverage of college football continues tomorrow night with an SEC showdown. Houston Nutt's Ole Miss Rebels take on Michael Dyer and the Auburn Tigers. College football primetime presented by 5 Hour Energy on ESPNU tomorrow at 7 Eastern Time. Michael Dyer, an Under Armour All-America alum.
Certainly is. Auburn looking to get back on track, as is Ole Miss.
3rd and 11. Claiborne pressured, and he goes down. Marcus Wakefield and Quintez Struble. And a flag is down in the secondary on the far side of the field. It's going to be holding against Heritage Hall.
Well, if you look at quarterback Riley Claiborne, he pumped for second one to get rid of the ball. At the last second, pulled it down, then went down in the pocket. Obviously, he saw that one of his targets was being held.
Holding on a defense. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay 3rd down.
A big play now going against Heritage Hall on that penalty. And a timeout is going to be taken here by Heritage Hall. The final timeout here of this first half for the Chargers. 28-3. Heritage Hall leads Bethany.
You really get insights into how good these players are and the challenges in front of them as they face off against the best in the country.
On 3rd and 1, the handoff to Gilstrap, has the first down and stumbles forward across the 20-yard line. Brandon Mays takes him down his 3rd tackle, an 18-yard run.
Keep mentioning this young man, Brett Gilstrap, number 31, just rumbling and bumbling, lowering his shoulder. He's a load now. He runs hard, determined. It's a big focal point of this offense, not just as a running back, but as a receiver.
Handoff is again to Gilstrap. Tries to cut it back and leaps forward. Sterling Shepard, number 3, there for the tackle.
No, we've rarely, if ever, said that he truly runs like an offensive tackle. As he was one.
I don't know if I'd take that as a compliment.
You would if you were an offensive tackle.
That is correct. They call him Strap because his brother, Blake, is called Gil. 2nd and 9. Collins, intercepted by Sanders. Barry Sanders takes it back to the 20. Just when things are starting to go well here for Bethany, another turnover.
And one of the reasons why you question that call, because unfortunately when you're going to make a play like this, you're in a condensed portion of the field, not a lot of space, and you're throwing it to a crossing route. Number 33, Blake Collins, intended for Colin Coffey, number 43, and Barry Sanders is just waiting there for a football that's thrown up for grabs. And again, not a lot of space to let that thing develop when you're inside the red area.
Second turnover of the game for Bethany. Another chance for this potent offense of Heritage Hall. Sanders in the backfield. Handoff is to Sanders. Spins away from one. Look at how strong he is with just that one hand on the football.
Yeah, he's about 5'11", 190, 195 pounds, so he's a little bit taller than his father. But again, I go back to, I was standing on the sideline and watching him, looking at his lower body, and he's really got some strength, but he's also got a high ceiling for development in the weight room. He's going to continue to mature and get that ability to push the pile at the next level and maybe be one of those guys that could be a 20, 25, 28 carry back per game.
You know, you think about his father. Whenever I think about watching Barry Sanders, I think about the slow motion and seeing him make those moves. You just see his leg muscles moving in the slow motion. It's unbelievable. The pass to Cale Courtney, and Courtney's got some blockers down the sideline. Courtney looked like a player may have gotten away with a hold, and not going to happen. Here's the flag. The flag is down around the 42-yard line. Matt Allen, the left guard, was going down there. A 46-yard play by Cale Courtney.
Unfortunately, if this is holding on Matt Allen, this will be a spot foul and won't negate too much of what was a terrific gain for Courtney, number 11 at wide receiver. It was 46 yards prior to the penalty.
When you see that jersey being pulled, usually it's going to be coming back.
On the offense, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Result of the play, first down.
No, you see the score there, 28-3, and you say, oh, well, this is just one team dominating over the other. That really hasn't been the case. It's been a matter of big plays. A 57-yard kickoff return, touchdown passes of 40, 77, and 31 yards, and a touchdown run of 40. It's all been about big plays. That last one was 46.
Pass to Shepard. Thought about maybe cutting it back. Shepard puts a move. There's a flag down on the field.
Sterling Shepard. And then on the spot, so there's a flag on the play.
Holding against Heritage Hall.
Holding. On the offense, 10-yard penalty, replay first down.
Reagan Roof, the head coach for Bethany, said in regard to this Heritage Hall team, this is by far and away the most talented team we have ever played top to bottom. You look at offense, we talked about the stars on offense in Sanders, in Shepard, and the quarterback in Shabour, but he pointed, like you said, to the defense.
Quintez Struble, Marcus Wakefield, both of those guys are playing on offense as well.
Shepard in motion on 1st and 16. Shabour, play action. And he overthrows his intended receiver, number 17, Shaden Shockley. 6:02 to go here in the first half, 28-3. Heritage Hall leading Bethany. Heritage Hall 7-0 on the season. Bethany is 6-1. Shabour 6 for 8, 201 yards, 3 touchdowns. That option pitch for another one. And that option pitch was truly beautiful.
Yeah, wonderfully executed by Shabour.
2nd and 16. A.J. Knowles in the backfield, number 15. And we've got another flag.
Prior to the snap, false start on the offense. 5-yard penalty, still second down.
Well, Kyle Roberts is earning his money, the referee in this game. It's cold. He's making sure his lips still work. It's not always easy, speaking clearly.
Been a lot of flags thrown here tonight in the first half alone.
2nd and 21. You would say 2nd and 21, well, that's tough, but they've had so many big plays, you never know what can happen. Sanders back in. Shepard in motion. And it's tossed to Cale Courtney. Courtney gets a block by Sanders, cuts it back. Courtney still on his feet. And Courtney gets thrown out of bounds by Gage Diffie. But guess what? 33 yards and a first down.
The offensive line there, number 55, Austin McGinnis, number 56, Matt Allen, doing a great job leading the charge. Tremendous downfield blocking in space on behalf of Heritage Hall on offense here, including number 26, Barry Sanders. Right there you see, look at the lineman leading the charge. Number 75, that's Marcus Wakefield, the defensive lineman we've talked about. Big team effort on offense for Heritage Hall in this series.
1st and 10, ball at the 30 of Bethany. Shabour going deep. Again to Shepard, jumps. And Shepard holds it in for another touchdown. This time, 30 yards.
30-yard touchdown pass for Quinn Shabour.
Been really surprised to this point, Justin, that they've allowed him to be matched up one-on-one with very little over-the-top coverage versus number 20, Gage Diffie. It's a mismatch. It's a speed mismatch. It's a vertical leap mismatch.
Matthew McLaughlin has missed the extra point.
Matthew McLaughlin on for another extra point. And the extra point is blocked by number 31, Brett Gilstrap.
I've got number 3 matched up. He just runs right by the they actually have him bracketed, number 20 and number 33. Blake Collins, Gage Diffie, number 20. And again, number 3 just goes up, elevates, attacks the football. And when that thing is in the air, it's his and his only.
You know, it's funny. He's only 5'11", but he's got that 40-inch vertical leap, so he plays even taller.
And he's an explosive leaper. That when he elevates, it's quickly, and he becomes big real fast.
Now it's time for tonight's storyline, brought to you by Nike. The story in this game has been the big plays, courtesy of Heritage Hall. Barry Sanders, 123 total yards, 77 of those coming on a touchdown pass. Also an interception. Shepard, 3 touchdowns, 2 receiving, 1 rushing. And Claiborne, he is 8 for 15 for 108 yards, the quarterback for Bethany. The 3 touchdowns by Shepard, a 40-yard run, 31-yard catch, and a 30-yard catch. Matthew McLaughlin on to kick off again with Gilstrap, 31, and 4. Grayson Hawes back deep, but they're standing at their own, well, 15 and 20-yard line. And now Hawes will back up to the 15. Gilstrap coming up, takes it to 25. Gilstrap takes a hit, and then hits a little shoestring tackle as he goes down, a 9-yard return. But the night so far, Sterling Shepard, he's making a nice little name for himself.
Done a great job in the kickoff return game in the opening kickoff. Great speed, hits the crease, no hesitation. Stop and start, the vertical stretch to be able to elevate and tackle the football, or excuse me, grab the football to tie his point. And then as a runner, using his speed to turn the corner, then cut back against the grain. Tremendous open field quickness for the Oklahoma Verbal commit. And then again, 31 yards, another touchdown reception for Sterling Shepard, who has been on fire tonight, both as a receiver and as a runner.
There is a player down on the field right now here for Heritage Hall.
Sterling Shepard, 6 total touches, 162 yards, 3 touchdowns with 5:19 here to go in the second quarter.
Talk about his great leaping ability, 40-inch vertical leap. This is a guy who his coach says he's just a happy kid. He always has a smile on his face. He wears number 3 because of his father. We talked about it earlier. He's a guy who tapes his father's nickname onto his, who writes his father's nickname on the tape of his wrist before every game, saying rest in peace, D. Shep. And so far in this game, Tom, we came in talking about Barry Sanders because Barry Sanders is the name. I mean, any sports fan knows about Barry Sanders. But this kid, Shepard, he came in as the higher-rated prospect.
Well, he has been. He's the higher-rated prospect in our minds, and it's a deep receiver class. It's a deep running back class, for that matter. And Sterling Shepard's been a guy that has taken the opportunities tonight and capitalized upon them.
Brett Gilstrap on the carry. A 5-yard run there by Gilstrap, tackled by Ross Clifton, his 3rd tackle. You look at the top 5 players in the state of Oklahoma. And, well, Oklahoma's got 2 of them coming there next year to Norman.
Yeah, he's got 2 of them coming to Norman. And Keon Hatcher just outside of the ESPNU 150 in the 4-star range. Verbally committed to Bobby Petrino and the Arkansas Razorbacks. Another explosive receiver. Some good skill guys out of the state of Oklahoma this year.
Claiborne, pass. And that one is hauled in by Gage Diffie, number 20. Let's see where they spot it. Going to be very close. It will be a first down indeed for Bethany.
While Gage Diffie, number 20, has had his struggles at corner on defense, he's been the prime target on offense. Converted a big 4th and 10 with the speed cut out. There with the hitch route on the outside. He's been a guy that they've counted upon. Very reliable as a receiver here tonight.
And the handoff is to Colin Coffey. And Coffey looks like he loses the ball, and a fumble is recovered by Nick Pearson.
And to see the run, they're out of the full house backfield, out of the shotgun. Number 43 just loses control of it in traffic right there. Marcus Wakefield, 75, with the initial contact to strip that ball loose. Nick Pearson, 34, with the recovery, and 3 turnovers on the night now for Bethany as Heritage Hall takes over in plus territory on offense.
Great field position again here for Heritage Hall, not like they need it. The handoff to Sanders has a ton of green. Sanders to the end zone. Touchdown. Another one-play drive for Heritage Hall. This time it's 45 yards.
Keep in mind, Heritage Hall undefeated coming into this game. Bethany 6-1. 7th ranked team in the state in their classification. Heritage Hall, the number 1 ranked team in the state in their classification. And that was an easy walk to the end zone for Barry Sanders Jr., 45 yards.
Matthew McLaughlin on for the extra point. The extra point is good, and Tom, people talk oftentimes about stats in high school sports, and we oftentimes say stats don't really matter because you never know who they're playing against. And some people have said that Barry Sanders has had a down year compared to last year. His coach told us the numbers he's put up this year is basically in 3.5 games, not in 7 games, because, well, right here, it's 41-3 with 4:03 to go in the first half.
And the stats you do see, the numbers are still pretty impressive because they're coming from such big plays. 6 possessions tonight for this offense, 6 touchdowns. They've had 3 possessions where they've had 1-play TDs. I mean, this is an explosive offense. It's got a lot of playmakers. The quarterback, Quinn Shabour, number 2, whom I might add, that man right there, Andy Bogert, the head coach, noted is one of the most underrated guys that doesn't get enough credit within our offense. He finds the open receiver, doesn't take risks with the football, makes a lot of plays through the air. That man right there, number 2, Quinn Shabour.
Well, we came here to watch Barry Sanders. We said his father, obviously everybody knows him. What's the kid like? Well, the kid has put up some big plays early.
Got a lot of wiggle. 7 runs, 73 yards, and a touchdown. 2 catches for 95 yards and a touchdown, and has notched an interception on defense. See him sneak past the coverage right there, and then elongate that stride. And he's off to the races. You see him here in the open field with some help from Quinn Shabour on the perimeter. Nice stock block against the defender to open up that lane. 41-3 as Heritage Hall is really laying it on Bethany right now.
7 runs for 73 yards and a touchdown, 2 catches, 95 yards and a touchdown, plus an interception. Gage Diffie takes it from the 16. Diffie has a hole. Gage Diffie gets down the sideline, and Diffie gets hit by number 3, Sterling Shepard. A 46-yard return. But don't forget, ESPN News coverage of college football continues tomorrow afternoon with 2 ACC games. First at noon Eastern, the NC State Wolfpack face E.J. Manuel and the Florida State Seminoles. Then catch the All-State game of the week at 3:30. The Wake Forest Demon Deacons take on the North Carolina Tar Heels. College football on ESPNU Saturday. Doesn't matter if it's a turnover or not a turnover. If it's a possession for Heritage Hall, it's ending in a touchdown.
A coach's dream.
41-3. Wow. Play action, pressured, and Claiborne goes down. Cale Courtney and Marcus Wakefield, 11 and 75, combined for the sack, a loss of 9 on the play.
Heritage Hall really creating problems on defense. Multiple looks, some exotic looks that is confusing Bethany up front. Too many guys pressuring, not enough to protect Riley Claiborne, and nowhere to go with the football. You look at the pressure defense for Heritage Hall. Wow, 2 fumble recovers and interception, 31 takeaways on the year, 20 sacks.
2nd and 19. Looked like some confusion on that play, and Claiborne got drilled by Drew Dunham, number 42. The guy they call Diesel, who wears 42 because of Pat Tillman, to honor the fallen hero who played for the Arizona Cardinals.
As a coaching staff, if you're Bethany, this is where you find out an awful lot about the character of your football team. What they're made of, how they hang in there. Are their chins touching their chests as they run to the sideline? What's their body language, their demeanor? Reagan Roop, the head coach, spoke so highly of the character of this football team.
Claiborne pressured again, and again he goes down by Marcus Wakefield. Wakefield has had offers from Wake Forest and Colorado State, a loss of 13 on that sack.
The big guy just overwhelming Bethany at the point of attack. Keep in mind, we said earlier, Alex Bellari, 165 pounds at his offensive tackle position, 285 pounds for Marcus Wakefield, and some FBS level offers to boot. It's just a mismatch up front.
4th and 32. Gage Diffie. He gets that punt blocked by Marcus Wakefield. And it is marked out at the 42-yard line. Heritage Hall again with great field position. And Wakefield, he even gets a pat on the helmet by his opponent.
Well, he gets up there, and a big-bodied guy, there's no doubt about that. Pretty low pad level and extends those big paws. The rugby-style punt lined up against Jacob Nelson, number 64. Again, Wakefield, 285. Jacob Nelson, 180.
Handoff to Sanders. Flag comes flying in. Tom, when you watch Barry Sanders run, it looks like he does what his dad used to do, and he's kind of patient, waiting to see that hole, and then hits it.
Yeah, in low center of gravity, so he's able to maintain his balance while displaying that lateral agility to make people miss in a very confined space. The eyes are always up.
Chop block on the offense. 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Replay first down.
He had a blocker standing up, a defender, and another blocker coming in low. And back to Barry Sanders, shifty, explosive, a little bit taller, maybe a little faster than his father. And it'll be interesting to see it over time, that natural instinctive vision, which he appears to possess here tonight, becomes the strength of his game as it was with his father. Eyes in the back of his head, seeing defenders come from all directions to avoid taking direct shots.
1st and 25, quick pass to Shepard. Sterling Shepard shows that burst of speed down the sideline. And he'll be marked out of bounds at the 47-yard line of Bethany. Blake Collins, number 33, pushed him down, a pickup of 10.
No, we were speaking about the Under Armour All-America game coming up this January 5th, and when you have players like, let's just say, a Sterling Shepard and these high-end BCS level guys, and you see them against other high school teams, but not necessarily against the same level of competition, that's what makes the practice week of the Under Armour All-America game so much fun, because the first time in many of these prospects' lives, they are truly challenged athletically.
Quick pass, a little screen play for Sanders. Has an opening up the middle. And Sanders goes down as he crosses the 30, a 17-yard pickup and a first down. Brady Van Zandt with a tackle. They're going hurry up, no huddle here for Heritage Hall. 37 seconds left here in the first half. No timeouts remaining. Leading 41-3.
Heritage Hall has their foot to the pedal, don't they?
Cale Courtney. And Courtney gets taken down. The clock will keep on running. You can see them saying, spike the ball, spike the ball.
Well, you see some notable All-Americans from the Under Armour All-America game. Daquan Bowers, A.J. Grain, Julio Jones, Matt Barkley, and Landry Jones, the two quarterbacks having stellar careers, obviously, at Oklahoma and USC, respectively. Trent Richardson, who's my Heisman frontrunner.
But you talk about those matchups, and I think back to last year with Jadeveon Clowney against Cyrus Quandro. And that was just a blast to watch, and those two guys loved it.
They loved it because it gave them a true barometer of where they were at and what they needed to do to be ready for the next level. I can't tell you how many prospects throughout the last 4 years of the Under Armour All-America game that have come back and said, you know, that week was the most important week for my preparation for college because I knew what I wasn't ready for. And that's something that's very, very unique.
14 seconds left, 3rd and 6. Shabour again going to the corner, the jump ball. Are you kidding me? Sterling Shepard again.
We didn't lie to you when we said he went up and got the ball. We didn't lie to you when we said he had a vertical leap. This time, once again, Bethany tries to bracket him with Grayson Hawes, number 4, who was matched up this time against Sterling Shepard.
26-yard touchdown pass to Shepard, and nobody can jump with him.
And nobody can match him when the ball is in the air in a contested matchup. That's the 3rd time tonight. This time for 26 yards, we've seen him elevate and win in a one-on-one matchup, which I think is a huge part of the evaluation of a wide receiver in today's game. Look at 33 underneath, the same problems. You think your deepest is the deepest, but when that ball, look at him elevate, and look at how long he stays in the air. That was Jordan-esque. And then he extends above his head. That is a critical part of the evaluation process when you can make plays. Look at this, 7 touchdowns on 7 possessions and all big plays. We're not talking about sustained drives and 1-yard touchdown runs. We're talking about massive yards.
We're not done.
That's pretty good efficiency, right?
Pretty good, not bad. Average yards per pass attempt.
I mean, they did have a blocked PAT, so they're not perfect on the night.
That's true.
Oh my gosh, did you see how high he got up right there?
And to be able to maintain the elevation.
He's 5'11".
Yeah, but he plays big, and that's the one thing that when there's some guys that just have an innate sense for when the ball's in the air. It's mine or we're going to play the next down. It's not going to be a turnover.
How about the wide receiver like Chris Chambers? He was short, but he had long arms. He played bigger.
No question. Watch him go up and then suspend himself, stay in the air, extend above his head, and then secure the football tightly with those 2 big paws.
7 seconds to go in the half. We're going to have the top performance of the year coming up at halftime. It's too bad here for Sterling Shepard because
votes?
I think he may be able to get some late write-ins if you vote on Twitter.
I might change mine. He's in the running.
Tyler McGinnis keeps it on the ground. It's the other Gilstrap, Blake Gilstrap, with the return. And that will do it here for the first half. What a first half it was here for Heritage Hall. Sterling Shepard, Barry Sanders, 7 possessions, 7 touchdowns, 48-3. And let's take a look at our first half stats, brought to you by Geico. And the total yards for Heritage Hall, I mean, you don't put up 48 points without having a lot of yards. A
lot of yards and a lot of big plays. No turnovers. You see the points off of turnovers for Heritage Hall. And look at the 20-plus yard plays. That is just staggering. And it's a killer if you're the other team, because if you're not able to keep pace and sustain drives and get points, you can't afford to get in a track meet. And that's what this has become for Heritage Hall.
Just looking at some numbers, I mean, Quinn Shabour, 11 for 13, 287 yards, 5 touchdowns.
That's being overshadowed.
Wow. Matthew McLaughlin. Nope, it's going to be Tyler McGinnis, number 35, to kick off here. Brett Gilstrap and Grayson Hawes are back deep. Keeping it low. Tanner Robinson. Time now for our Gatorade Recover to Repeat. And Tom, what do these teams have to do here in the second half?
Well, if you're Bethany, you've got to continue to play hard and play with pride. There's no doubt about it. Coaches preach it, especially when you get behind. You're dealing with adversity. Heritage Hall, play your reserves and run the football. You never know when you might have an injury. You're going down the stretch. You're going to be entering playoff time. Get as much experience within this roster as you can.
Riley Claiborne on first down. Passes near side to Grayson Hawes. And Hawes picks up the first down as he crosses midfield up to the 47-yard line of Heritage Hall. Ross Clifton with his 4th tackle, a 16-yard completion. Grayson Hawes was the state runner-up in the 800 meters. That's not a fun race.
I can't imagine it would be.
Combination of distance and speed.
More worried about the distance.
Gilstrap. Brett Gilstrap, a nice move getting the outside. He picks up 9 yards as Demarie Walters trips him up, number 85, the guy they call Baby Ocho. Can you figure out why?
Number 85 at the corner spot. Forgot the Cinco, by the way.
I didn't forget it. I'm just going off what his nickname is. Second down and 1. Claiborne setting up the screen pass. Making the catch is Blake Collins, and Collins pinballs forward for the first down. Look at this. Loses his helmet, fires up the crowd. Marcus Wakefield and Drew Dunham laid the wood on him.
Big 75, Marcus Wakefield. He comes back and lays the hat on Blake Collins right there. Wow.
First and 10. Play clock at 7. Claiborne was going down the field. His man got tackled out of bounds. The flag comes flying in. Gage Diffie was the intended receiver as Barry Sanders made an early tackle.
Barry Sanders was in press coverage here and essentially just ran him right out of bounds. Gage Diffie, number 20. Unfortunately, that is against the rules. As Sam Weiss used to say on NFL films, he's going to live, but that is a penalty.
Holding on a defense. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. First down.
But you like the way that he wrapped up, finished.
It was a good form penalty, I guess you would call it.
First and 10. Claiborne. That is through the hands of Blake Collins. And if Blake Collins is looking to find out what the defenders are, I don't blame him. He has been laid out twice.
And there are a lot of defenders around him. A lot of blue jerseys flying around on defense. Heritage Hall, very active, dominant team in the defensive front three in their 3-5-3 look.
2nd and 10 from the 26 of Heritage Hall. A softball lofted towards the end zone, broken up by Barry Sanders. The intended receiver was Gage Diffie. Sanders does have an interception on the evening.
That's been tough for Diffie, number 20, because oftentimes he's been matched up on Sterling Shepard from the corner position, and now he has to contend with Barry Sanders, who's matched up against him. Tough to win those battles.
3rd and 10. Hawes. And Hawes gets tackled by Sterling Shepard. Looks like he picks up about 8 yards. Shepard and Tyler McGinnis combine for that tackle. And when you're down 48-3, you got to just go for it.
Well, you go for it, but I kind of like the mentality I'm seeing from Bethany and head coach Reagan Roof. They're going to come out hitting on all pistons. They're going to be firing the ball around. They don't look like they're playing down 48-3.
The handoff to Diffie, trying to get to that outside, cuts it back, gets cut off. Sterling Shepard doing so much on the offensive end, now steps up and saves the first down on the defensive end. His 5th tackle of the night and a turnover of downs.
Defensively, Heritage Hall holds the star of the night on offense. Sterling Shepard, number 3, that man right there, turning it over on downs.
Is presented by Gatorade and in part by MVP Memories. Create your own instant replay. And by Nike Football, who reminds you to take every advantage. Last year, they hosted the trophy as the 2010 state champions. They won it also in 2008, 15-0. Runner-up in 07. Not a bad little 4-year run by the Heritage Hall Chargers, and now looking like they're going to move to 8-0 on this season. Well, Sterling Shepard is in as the quarterback. Split out wide is the real quarterback. Shabour is now in motion. And it's Shepard running the option with Sanders. Not the best of pitches, but Sanders able to bring it in. And Sanders stays in bounds. Heritage Hall, you saw that one of those championships was back in 1998. Well, there is Wes Welker. Won a 2A state championship as a junior, then went on to Texas Tech. 21 touchdowns, over 3,000 yards. And now the Pro Bowler with the New England Patriots, the favorite target of Tom Brady.
See how his face got meaner in each and every one of those photos? A little more determined.
Shepard again, a Wildcat. And Shepard picks up the first down. A 12-yard run by Sterling Shepard. Blake Collins, number 33, with a tackle. You're watching ESPN High School football here in Oklahoma. The Geico ESPN High School Showcase presented by Gatorade. As Bethany takes on Heritage Hall here in Oklahoma City. Justin Kutcher alongside the Director of National Recruiting for ESPN, Tom Luganbill. The final high school broadcast of this 2011 high school football season. Of course, the Under Armour All-America festivities coming up in January. On 1st and 10, the handoff is to Sanders. And Sanders gets pulled down by number 54, Alex Ballery. A guy who has to eat a Snickers before every game. It satisfies him.
It really does.
I think you had that same thing.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
2nd down and 9 coming up here for Heritage Hall. And notice in this 3rd quarter, this first drive for Heritage Hall, they have not attempted a pass. And the handoff to Sanders, the exchange. Oh, wow. Gets the stiff arm to the outside, gets the first down. How did he make that play, and how did Shabour get that ball off to him as he was getting hit?
Again, a fantastic effort to execute this play, and then once Barry Sanders was able to secure the football after the initial penetration by Bryton Cochran, number 50, he secures the ball, and then this right there. Tremendous quickness, suddenness. What looked like it was going to be a minimum of a 4-yard loss turned into a 19-yard gain for Heritage Hall.
Marcus Wakefield, number 75, in at fullback. Play action. It's kept by Shabour up the middle. Shabour gets to the outside. And we've got a flag thrown back at the 38-yard line. Gage Diffie finally brings Shabour down after a pickup of 33, but this one will be coming back.
Block in the back.
It'll be a block in the back against Heritage Hall. We came in talking about Barry Sanders. He's number 78 in the 150. How about Sterling Shepard, number 56 in the 150? Both guys having huge games.
Huge games, big plays resulting in points.
Block in the back.
Both of those players obviously on the receiving end of what's been a great performance by Quinn Shabour, number 2, the quarterback, giving his best RG3 impersonation. 5 touchdowns, only 2 incompletions.
Speaking of RG3, does he factor into your Heisman candidates?
I think he does. And I believe there's a tremendous opportunity tomorrow for an upset alert in Stillwater.
You do realize we're in Oklahoma
I do
right
realize we're in Oklahoma.
Great, we're not getting out of here.
Oh, we'll get out of here. See some Baylor fans over there.
1st and 14. The toss to Sanders. Sanders gets a block, cuts it back, takes it across the 40. An 11-yard run for Barry Sanders. Grayson Hawes, number 4, with a tackle.
You know, it's very difficult to be in the running for the Heisman or to win the Heisman if you are on a multiple loss team. But that's got one of the Robert Griffin III is one of the most exciting players college football has to offer right now. And I say upset alert because Oklahoma State, one of the most opportunistic teams in college football, leading the country in turnover margin, 15 interceptions, but they're playing against a team that doesn't turn the football over. Something's got to give. Could be a track meet.
Oklahoma State right now, their highest BCS ranking of all time. 2nd and 4. Pass to Cale Courtney. And Cale Courtney is having himself a nice little ball game as he picks up 8 in the first down. Colin Coffey with the tackle. The big news today is that West Virginia has been formally invited to join the Big 12. We just talked about the Oklahoma State Cowboys, and how about the Sooners coming off that terrible loss last week?
You see that 16-0 after a loss since 2004, and in their last 7 losses, they have not allowed an opponent to score more than 13 points the week following. So Kansas State goes in red hot, undefeated, but doesn't throw the football very well. Expect to see a lot of 8-man fronts from Oklahoma.
Play clock down to 2. Shabour gets it off. Looking for a block from Sanders, trying to get to the corner. And Shabour gets tackled by Blake Collins right at the line of scrimmage. How about the Big 12 this year in college football, though? I mean, everyone always talks about the SEC, the SEC, the SEC. The Big 12, they're legitimate this year.
Tremendous quarterback play. Whether it's Landry Jones at Oklahoma, Brandon Whedon at Oklahoma State, RG3 we talked about at Baylor, Seth Dagey at Texas Tech, Ryan Tannehill at Texas A&M. The list goes on and on. You just have quality quarterback play. You've got tremendous offensive skilled people that put pressure on the defenses, and you don't have a lot of teams in the Big 12 that have the defensive fronts that the SEC has, particularly in the SEC West, which is what separates that conference right now.
2nd down and 10. Empty backfield for Shabour, throwing across the middle, and that pass is complete to Shockley, and Shockley will get into the end zone for a touchdown. So what is that now? 8 possessions, 8 touchdowns. 29-yard completion.
29-yard touchdown pass from Quinn Shabour.
Nice job here by Quinn Shabour for his 6th touchdown of the night. Down the seam. That ball has to be completed between 12 and 17 yards. 17 and 22 yards. Right in that range. Pass linebacker level, prior to safety level. tremendous execution.
Matthew McLaughlin on for another extra point. Splits the uprights. The double nickel put up by Heritage Hall. They lead 55-3. Tyler McGinnis will kick off here once again for Heritage Hall with Brett Gilstrap and Grayson Hawes deep for Bethany. Gilstrap has to backpedal, takes it at the 10. Goes to the outside, Gilstrap. It's hard to believe this guy was an offensive tackle last year. Sam Donnelly, number 13, with a special teams tackle. You look at the top recruiting classes. We talked during the break about Jonathan Gray at the half as the top performer this year, and he's going to Texas.
They're going to Texas, and normally at this stage and even earlier in the process, you're going to see Texas with a high total number of commitments. We've been really intrigued with the job that Al Golden has done at Miami, holding that thing together right now as they sit and wait to see how their NCAA investigation comes out.
First down, the handoff to Gilstrap, cuts it back up the middle. And Gilstrap gets tackled by Ross Clifton, fifth tackle of the game for number 4, a 6-yard run by Gilstrap. Gilstrap, favorite band, Rascal Flatts. Can't argue with that.
No.
What'd you say
Pretty
that
good.
the lead singer of Rascal Flatts looks like?
Brett Bielema, head coach at Wisconsin. Check it out.
And off to Coffey. Colin Coffey turns the corner, and Coffey will get the first down. Nick Pearson rides him out of bounds. A 9-yard run by Coffey.
What are you going to be for Halloween, Justin?
Still up in the air. I may be like an infomercial type guy.
That's cool.
Have you got any responses for Twitter for your Halloween costume for the Palmer and Pollock show on Monday?
No. At Tom Luganville.
At Tom Luganville. Again, we'll reveal your finalists.
Yes.
And then we want to have the fans vote on what you should be. And off to Gilstrap. He was stopped in the backfield. Just barreling through people. There is a player down in the backfield. Number 73, Jamal James for Heritage Hall.
Jamal James, just a sophomore at 5'10", 245 pounds. Obviously in pain.
55-3, just under 3 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Heritage Hall leads Bethany. And Saturday Night Football continues with 2 great games featuring top-ranked teams. Heisman candidate Andrew Luck leads 6th-ranked Stanford Cardinal on the road against the USC Trojans, but you can also go to ESPNHighSchool.com to find out about Barry Sanders, to find out about Sterling Shepard, and what's going on for high school sports. Go to ESPNHighSchool.com. Second and 1. Claiborne, play action, taking a shot, and there's the flag, pass interference. The intended receiver was Grayson Hawes.
Pass interference on a defense. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot, automatic first down.
See Coach Andy Bogert there, the head coach at Heritage Hall. Has been in the press box since 2007. Finds it nice and cozy up there.
Had heart surgery back in 2007, been up here ever since. First and 10. And the quarterback, Riley Claiborne has nowhere to go with A.J. Knowles, number 15, making his first tackle of the game. Red zone opportunity here for Bethany.
No gain. 2nd and 10 for the Broncos. Over the 20.
Claiborne. The pass is complete to number 20, Gage Diffie. And Diffie picks up 6 yards, setting up 3rd and 4. Tyler McGinnis, number 35, there with his 2nd tackle of the night.
We've seen Bethany in this position multiple times tonight. And they've either tried to go for it on 4th down and turn the ball over on downs. They've had a turnover off of a trick play. This Heritage Hall team bends at times, but doesn't seem to break.
Hand off to Gilstrap. Gilstrap cuts it back, leaps forward, and looks like he's going to have enough for that 1st down. Picks up 5 as Ross Clifton makes his 4th tackle of the game. Ross Clifton, 5'8", 175 pounds. His teammates nicknamed him Mini-Me a couple of years ago when the guy just had a nose for the football, making all the stops. Down on the ground is Tyler McGinnis, number 35.
Brett Gilstrap, number 31 for Bethany. He is a tough customer. He will lower his shoulder and pop those pads. You better bring your big boy pads when you come to play against that guy right there, number 31. Not so sure with further time in the weight room and some added development, he couldn't make for a college level fullback. Very active and athletic, good in the passing game.
He's got good size.
He's got very good size, and he's only going to get bigger. He's a good football player.
So he's a guy that you would take a chance on if you're an FBS school?
Possibly. I was thinking probably more at the FCS level, but I think there's some college football in him. At what level, you know, that's up for coaches to determine, and at what position, because you're probably not going to look at him as a true tailback or a true wide receiver, but as a special teams player, a guy that's going to give you versatility, toughness. He's physical. With added weight and strength, I think he could be a guy in the right offense who could kind of be one of those veteran utility guys.
You've seen him tonight returning kicks, catching out of the backfield, running hard, lowering that shoulder, staying in bounds, running over people. I agree with you, Tom. I mean, this is a guy who there is certainly some upside.
There's a level for him somewhere, and it's and he's really putting on a nice show and a tough night tonight for his football team.
On 1st and goal, Claiborne over the middle, complete touchdown to Gage Diffie. The first touchdown of the game for Bethany. Gage Diffie, nicknamed the X Factor. He says, my coach hates when I say that. Cole Rinke on for the extra point. And the extra point is good. 55-10. Gage Diffie, the playmaker on offense, makes a play.
Yeah, Riley Claiborne, the quarterback, does a nice job of throwing a very catchable ball. Diffie over the middle, showing no fear. He's got 6 catches tonight, a touchdown. Had some tough moments matched up on defense versus Sterling Shepard, but has responded at what is likely his more natural position, wide receiver on offense.
So 55-10, a 3-sport athlete, 3-year starter, a 4.28 GPA. .103 to go here in the 3rd quarter. This is kicking off Halloween weekend. So happy Halloween to everybody out there. Big night.
I'm so excited.
Now you have 2 kids. You said
3
before,
if you include me, as my wife would say.
You have said before that this is your Christmas.
It is.
So what is the Luganville family going to be dressing up for on Monday for Halloween?
Well, I've got a Captain Jack Sparrow for my son. Olivia Swan for my daughter. Cute little girl pirate costume. And then I've got to get out of the studio after Final Verdict and BCS Countdown and get home to trick or treat. Hopefully I'll still be in costume.
Will your wife be partaking in the festivities of dressing up?
No. she doesn't have that Halloween spirit.
Cole Rinke will kick off. Sam Donnelly and Demarie Walters are back deep for Heritage Hall. Donnelly takes it at the 16, and he gets thrown to the ground as he gets the 25-yard line. Saturday Night Football continues with two great games featuring top-ranked teams. Heisman candidate Andrew Luck leads a 6th-ranked Stanford Cardinal on the road against the USC Trojans, or Taj Boyd and the 5th-ranked Clemson Tigers take on the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Saturday Night Football, presented by Southwest Airlines. Both games available nationally on ABC or ESPN3 at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. Here are those Heisman candidates, according to Tom Luganville. You said Richardson is your front runner?
It's my front runner because I think the formula for the Heisman, obviously you got to be on a premier team. He is. Being a premier conference with high exposure, he is. And play in big games that everybody's going to see. And I think there's one coming up on November 5th, if I'm not mistaken.
A.J. Knowles on the carry. Drake Johnson with a tackle. We talk about Trent Richardson with his big game coming up next week, but how about Andrew Luck? This was his write-up when he was a high school senior.
Yeah, Andrew Luck was a guy. The one thing at the high school level that you never got a chance to see is how good of an athlete he is. He was never utilized in that role. He was a pure drop back passer and a guy that's just blossomed so much. Top 10 overall player for us out of that class. And arguably who I believe to be maybe the best pro prospect, regardless of position, to come out since Peyton Manning.
Really?
Yeah, regardless of position.
We'll continue that conversation when we come back in the 4th quarter, but we are through 3 here in Oklahoma City. Heritage Hall leads Bethany 55-10. He's played his entire career with the Detroit Lions, retired early. Tom, I know you and I have spoken about this as we take a look at his son, Barry Sanders, Barry J. Sanders. And had Barry Sanders not retired early, he would have broken Walter Payton's all-time rushing record.
Shattered it.
The pass from Sam Donnelly is completed to number 31, Joe Wheeler, who will not have to run in practice next week after having the best costume at yesterday's Halloween practice.
Yep. I wouldn't be running at practice either after Monday when mine gets revealed. I wonder if Barry J. Sanders used to watch the A-Team reruns. He's got himself a nice mohawk.
Mr. T?
Yeah. Look at that.
There's the Penguin costume. Fourth and 1, a punt, and it's blocked. Still loose, and it's recovered by Heritage Hall. Cameron Farmer blocked the punt, and so now a good field position here for Bethany.
Cameron Farmer over the middle, just overpowers number 58, Caleb Feller. He's a freshman, 5'9", 186 pounds.
Well, now in for the first time is number 25, Tino Van. 5'3", 325 pounds. Takes the handoff, gets it stripped. Ball is still loose. Finally covered up by Riley Claiborne. All the way back at the 38-yard line. A loss of 14 on the play. The ball was knocked loose by number 78, Cody Moore.
A lot of people would be surprised to know that there is a correct and an incorrect way of recovering a fumble. If you pounce on it chest first, the chances of recovering it are slim and none. You've got to go at it from a side angle in what coaches would call a fetal position and cradle the football to prevent that squirting out of the ball, and you'll secure the football every time.
Claiborne rolling out on 2nd and 24. The pass to the far sideline. Hauled in by number 16, Andrew Brown. Oh, excuse me, that's Brady Van Zant. 10 minutes to go here in this fourth quarter, 55-10. Heritage Hall leading Bethany. A toss to Van. And Van gets tripped up as he gets across the 30, picks up 3. TJ Schulner, number 25, with a tackle.
Tino Van's a tough guy to get a clean shot at. He's 5'3", 125 pounds. Diminutive in stature, very quick. Just a freshman. Getting some turns here tonight with the varsity.
4th and 15, Cole Reinke on for a field goal attempt. A 46-yarder. He converted earlier on 32-yard attempts. And the kick is blocked. Picked up in High School Showcase, presented by Gatorade. Sam Donnelly in at quarterback here for Heritage Hall. Now running back is A.J. Knowles. TJ Schulner in at fullback. Handoff is to Knowles, who gets hit in the backfield. Able to cover up, a loss of 3 on the play. Lane Coffey, number 51, with a tackle, and now A.J. Knowles is slow to get up. Knowles will come off the field. One of those where you kind of get the wind knocked out of you. It's one of the worst feelings.
It's a bad feeling.
Hand off to TJ Schulner. And Schulner gets back to the original line of scrimmage. We are here in Oklahoma. This is obviously Big 12 country, and we've talked about Texas and their recruiting class, Oklahoma and their recruiting class. How about some other teams that have made some progress this year? What about a team like, let's say, Oklahoma State? How have they done capitalizing on what they're doing on the field this year?
I don't think we know yet. I think they're a team that is making strides, obviously. They've made a dent in relationship to the rest of the conference because they've established such exposure. And T. Boone Pickens deserves a lot of credit for that with the facilities upgrades. You see him there. Dominic Remacher out of the Dallas area, a really versatile offensive weapon. And Texas Tech is another team under Tommy Tuberville prior to the big upset win last week in Norman versus Oklahoma, who's really made strides, I think, improving their offensive skill, improving within the offensive line, and getting a quarterback in Clayton Nicholas as well. So Tommy Tuberville, the Texas Tech Red Raiders, doing a nice job.
We talk a lot, each week on Recruiting Nation, when a team has a big win, what does it mean for that program? A lot of times, the teams, like in Oklahoma, if they lose last week, it doesn't kill them recruiting-wise because they have history. But what about a team like Texas Tech with Tommy Tuberville as the head coach? Does that type of a win help them recruiting-wise?
Well, there's no doubt it helps them. How significant and long-term the help is something that's difficult to gauge, but it does provide an instant spark because it's massive exposure for at least a week's worth of time.
6:09 to play here in the fourth quarter, 55-10. Fourth quarter as Heritage Hall leads Bethany. His night is done. Barry Sanders had a big night. 12 carries, 109 yards, a touchdown. 3 catches, 112 yards, a touchdown. 2 tackles and an interception. And movement up front to start off after the break. False start here against the offense. Kyle Duke is now in at quarterback here for Bethany. Number 12, the freshman, whose dad played football at the Air Force. The handoff is to Tino Van, gets wrapped up behind the line of scrimmage. A loss of 5 on the play. Chase Calvert, number 76, with a tackle.
Heritage Hall playing a lot of their young guys, getting a lot of reps and some experience to their underclassmen. Very smart move.
And off to Van. That small back breaks through some tackles. A nice run by the freshman. 10 yards by Tino Van. Where's 25? Because of Reggie Bush, even though he says Bush changed his number.
Quick, explosive. Again, just a freshman, 5'3", 125 pounds. He truly is a Colt.
3rd and 9. Play action as Duke keeps it. Kyle Duke, another freshman. He gets the first down. Nice run by Kyle Duke. 18 yards.
Kyle Duke, number 12, as you mentioned, another freshman, navigating through traffic, keeps the ball on the outside arm. Some youngsters here for Bethany that Coach Reagan Roof's got to be excited about for the future of the program. We just ran into a buzzsaw here tonight with this Heritage Hall Ball Club. It's going to be a lot of coaches in this conference that are going to be glad to see the departure of Sterling Shepard, Barry Sanders, Marcus Wakefield, and Quintez Struble.
You talk about these guys who are playing here tonight being stars. How about the stars that have committed to the Under Armour All-America game, which will be played January 5th down in St. Petersburg?
Yeah, and here's just a handful of them. Mario Edwards Sr., #1 ranked overall player in the land. Jonathan Gray, who last night had a monster performance, 7 touchdowns total. That's a handful of guys. Connor Brewer at quarterback, as well as Chad Kelly, committed to Clemson. Wide receivers Amari Cooper and Angelo Jean Lewis committed to Miami. Cooper, of course, committed to Alabama. Really excited about this year's roster, the 5th year of the Under Armour All-America game. The talent level continues to just explode with all the events that we put together through ESPN, through Disney, Under Armour, the job that they do, kind of quickly become the game to play in for the top high school seniors in the country.
Third and 1 here with Duke in at quarterback. Little zone read. And Duke trying to drag forward, and he gets that first down. Great effort here by the freshman Kyle Duke. Keeping it, dancing around and dragging some big bodies forward for that first down. Going back to that All-America week, so to speak. And that just rhymes. Van again. Look at him. And now takes out our camera operators. Here comes the head coach for Heritage Hall, Andy Bogert, making his way down to the field to celebrate with his team. But, you know, we talked about that matchup last year with Cyrus Quandro and Jadeveon Clowney. Is there a matchup this year or a couple of different matchups that you think the audience should know about going in and hyping that up a bit?
I think there could be some really good wide receiver, defensive back matchups. Guys like Richardson up at Michigan facing off maybe against an Angelo Jean Lewis, and those guys are the receivers. They're lining up at the wide receiver position at the high school level, and they're rarely challenged. The defensive backs are rarely challenged with somebody that can really create pressure and force them to have to play with technique. So I always like to see that matchup. I go back to the first year when we had Janoris Jenkins and Julio Jones, and that first day of practice, and that first one-on-one rep, and Julio Jones got stunned by Janoris Jenkins. And then it turned into a week-long battle. It was a great evolution of the player between Julio Jones and Janoris Jenkins that week.
Another good hard run by Kyle Duke. It's funny, I think back, you said just before how a lot of these players say that week is monumental and instrumental in their college careers and knowing what they are and are not ready for. But you also get a lot of the kids there who are actually going right from there to college.
There's no question, and they get on that plane, they go to their respective university, they enroll in classes, and now they're expected to participate in study hall. Winter workouts that are often very early in the morning, going to class on your own, then participating in spring ball. It's a daunting transition for many.
Then brings it up to the 10-yard line as this game is winding down. $55-10, Heritage Hall leading Bethany. Most likely the last play of the game. And the quarterback, Duke, gets wrapped up, and that will do it. Heritage Hall defeats Bethany by a score of 55-10. And this game was pretty much over at the half. When we come back,